I have a problem, number one, staying connected on the way back.
Yep.
I have a problem staying in my posture. I have a problem dumping the club too early.
Yeah.
Those are like my 3, and a problem getting to my left side.
Sure.
Those are like 4 things right there.
Outside of those,
my game's great. You know, it's a lot of timing. So I'm just really want to be a little more consistent. So ideally, if I could walk out of here with my backswing good, that's in my head, and just try not to get rid of the club so early. That's really my main focus is right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys, so there's so much good stuff that happens when I'm doing lessons, whether it be in person or online. I really want to start sharing that with you all. So in today's video, we have Josh that came in. You're going to see the lesson that I did with him. Hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like these videos? Do you like these lesson videos? Would you like more of them? Enjoy the video. Now, as we start to work back during the backswing,
This is where it's going to get ugly.
We're going to start to see some stuff here, man. We're going to start to see some stuff. So as we start to work back, the main thing I would be looking at here is the arm plane.
Mm-hmm.
In that, I don't think there's a right, and I mean, you do a lot of good here, right? So like, there's some minutia stuff with the swing plane, right? There's some little minutia stuff, but you're pretty clean. If I were to look at the arm plane and specifically where the butt of the club is and the depth, see how the butt of the club is over like shoelaces, ball of the foot.
Yep.
I would have that butt of the club be over the ankle.
Okay.
So if we pull you up to the top and we pull him up to the top, see the difference where the butt of the club is?
Huge.
Huge. And how I would look at that when you're in here practicing is I would draw a line down the butt of the club and get it closer to your ankle.
Got it.
So heel line is like on the deep end of the spectrum. I would say kind of middle of the ankle is normal, and anything inside of that would be quite a bit vertical.
Okay.
Now, we talked about, right, like there's guys on tour who look like that.
Right.
So it's not incorrect. The thing about you having the arm plane being higher is you're going to need to do something to get that lower and get the club back on plane.
Right.
So like if we start to look at you as you transition down now, you see your hand path, let's go this way. As we start to transition down, you're going to be too far out with the arms hand shaft compared to where he gets to. Let's go here at like left arm parallel.
Right.
So right about there to there. So you see those differences?
Yeah, huge.
So now if your arm's out, like your lead arm's out, and the shaft is through your shoulder up here, I like to see the shaft more through the mid bicep with the butt of the club on or just outside the ball. And that would be like on plane, like neutral. So it's not as though your shaft is like super steep in terms of vertical. It's just too far out.
Right.
Meaning your arms are too far out
from my body.
Because they didn't go low enough.
Right. And that's why my swing path sometimes goes out
to the left.
Because my arms are already too far away from my body.
Now, because you're a good athlete and you can eye-hand coordinate this, what'll happen is your head's going to start to come off the wall, your hips are going to come in, and that's what shallows the club late. So all that like early extension, head off the wall look is what shallows the club. So you get away with it, right? But to do that, you had to get your body farther from the ground, which means you had to stand up, which means you had to release angles early, which means you add a dynamic loft.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why when you look at the board, it's like, well, how does the top of the backswing matters? Well, shit. It's directly influences what you do in transition,
right?
Which is what you do through the ball, which is how you get your hits. So we would say, like, if you could get your arm lower at the top, it would automatically be more in, like his, which means it's already going to be on plane. So you don't have to stand up to shallow it.
Right.
So you don't have to throw angles. So the dynamic loft will be better.
Okay.
So anytime you change a habit, like we're trying to change this into looking normal, you have to change the root cause of why it happens, which is your backswing plane.
Right.
And then you have to like equal out the amount of reps you've done the other way.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're like, hey, if you just change this, everything else will change by itself. No chance.
Right.
Because if you did X amount of thousands of swings the other way, your brain's been doing that downswing thing just habitually. That's like walk out of here differently.
Right.
There's no chance of that happening. So, but that's how it will actually change. It's like we need to change the backswing first. That will not automatically change the downswing pieces, but it gives us the opportunity to change the downswing pieces.
Right. We're in a better position to change it.
Yeah, it's now possible.
Right.
It's now possible. So you could really where you're at, right? You could kind of keep athleting your way around this. Let me just pull your face up so we can see this. But to change it, we have to do those pieces. When you look at this side, when you do the standing up, what that's going to lead to from here is a little bit of the early releasing. Right? So when the shaft, like when your hands get in line with your thigh, like about here, when the butt of the club gets in line with the golf ball, the shaft should still be like parallel to the ground.
Right.
So when you get to here, right there, the shaft instead of here should be up there. But you have to release it to get the club on plane. I'll show you what that means from down the line. And then at impact, you can see your hands are way too far back.
Right.
So that should be back where it was, like over the left leg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then there's some little ancillary things here where obviously when you get out with the arms, you have to try and shallow it by early releasing and then adding some tilt through the hit as well. Now you look good here. If we just pause you there and didn't look at anything else, you look clean there. You're like, oh, that swing looks good.
So it's just like a 4-foot area there that I need to tighten up.
It's killing you.
Yeah.
It's killing you. And it's not killing you in terms of the direction. I mean, if I watched you hit in the range and I had no like dynamic loft, I couldn't slow it down, I was just looking where your ball's at, I'd be like, dude, this guy hits it pretty good.
Right.
But then I'd be like, well, you probably should hit it a club farther.
Right.
You should
be
hit
looking at swing club head speed and ball speed, and it's only going 150 miles or 150 yards because the dynamic loft is almost like 30. You know?
So for most people, 160 with an 8-iron is great, but for you, it's not.
Right.
At your speed, you should have 175. So cool opportunity to change that. So if your current backswing is, we'll call it vertical.
Yes.
Right. Too high. Like the checkpoints when you look on video would be the butt of the club over the ankle.
Yep.
And the arm is like on your shoulder plane.
Right.
That would make your life easier. Now, because you're too high, you're going to need to feel really low.
Okay.
Like stupid. You know, there's some things we can do to make it easier, especially increasing pelvis rotation.
Yeah.
You still net out with a good shoulder, quote unquote shoulder turn from your arms going. And I would define that by, you could see your right shoulder closer to the target than your left.
Okay.
That's like a good turn checkpoint.
Okay.
Now the reality is, it's not really your shoulders. It's a combination of lots of things turning, rib cage, pelvis, etc. From this angle here, to help with the turning pieces, we could definitely get your pelvis turning a bit more, but your arms from here to the top, I mean, they should go up on an angle like this.
But they go straight up.
They go straight up, so you're going to need to feel it like this.
Okay.
And you're going to say, Eric, that feels stupid. I'm going to say, I know it does. And then we're going to look on video, and it should look like here. And there's some minutia stuff that we'll clean up, some of the pressure in your feet, some of the turning stuff that'll help with this. But the moral of the story is going to be the arm. So I'm thinking the majority of your depth is going to have to be felt from the takeaway to the top.
Okay.
So I'd still like you just make a normal takeaway till about club parallel, like just whatever you feel normal. So I think that can stay the same.
Okay.
The thing from here is now your arms from this position need to feel like they go as far around you as humanly possible.
Okay.
So show me what your interpretation of that would be like from there to the top. Okay, that's perfect. So that feels stupid?
Feels a little awkward.
Very low, restricted,
Yes.
arm across your chest. Good. Let's do that again.
Okay.
So what you're going to see in the video is that your arm's actually going way under your plane, which it should be. So that's what you need to feel there.
Okay.
Beautiful. Do that one more time. Good. So that sort of sensation I want you to do without a ball and just hit that same thing. So do the takeaway, pause for a second, and then go very low and make a downswing. Good. So let's just do one rehearsal together. No hit, because I'm going to stand in front of you. Good. Very low. Good. One more. Very low. Okay. Now let's hit with this. Now just to preface this for a second, like I probably right now would like to do a foam ball. Mm-hmm. We'll do it for the ball. When you're doing your mechanics practice, this is something else I wish I would have heard. We're going to hit a ball, and then in fact we're going to do it like we will do it, which is you shouldn't even have a sensation of the impact. You shouldn't have any ball flight feedback.
Okay.
Like the best way to learn this would be you hitting into a net with video with like a foam ball.
Got it.
Because when you're doing your mechanics, you should do like just mechanics. Because we already said why we're doing it.
Right.
We're sold on it.
Right.
We're in.
So we don't need. Result's not as important as the mechanics of it until we get that.
So I would like challenge you to, because we're gonna look on video, to like go so low that there's like no chance it's gonna be too high.
Okay.
Right? Let's see how low you can go, if you will. So as low as you can from there to the top, our goal is to get the butt of the club over the ankle.
Okay, so.
And for this one, let's do no pause with the takeaway.
Just
an
roll
overall,
through it.
an overall sensation of incredibly low to the top. Good. And now we're going to play a game of exaggeration level.
Okay.
This comes up here. Yeah, okay. Let's see from there, here where it looks.
Okay. I mean, for me feeling I'm going as inside as I am, I mean, that's nowhere near where I thought the club was.
It's not enough.
Right.
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 So the moral of the story for this is it's better than before, but it's not even close.
Right.
To where you felt.
Right.
Which is exactly what happens every single time for every 20,000 lessons I've given. Is you, me, no one ever does it enough. Now you're closer.
Yep.
Right. If we look at this and we look at swing one, it's closer.
Yep.
Right. With where the butt of the club is. Here's where we are. We want the butt of the club over the ankle.
Right.
So I don't mind if it's slightly above the shoulder plane. You get some height, but it's got to be. We want it to be over here.
Okay.
So now from here, if we look at this latest one, and this is the game, right? So now what do you got to do on the next one?
I feel like I'm going even further.
Even lower.
Yep.
Now that's better, right? I would say that's halfway there.
Okay.
And now the point is, what should happen is this should start to change.
Right.
Which it is there a little bit.
Right.
Right. So now our shaft is coming through kind of the mid bicep. Right.
Okay.
So normally on the first one, we were getting the shaft through the shoulder, I believe. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the shaft through the shoulder, and here's the shaft through underneath the shoulder. Yeah. You see how the shaft is different?
Yeah.
So this
not
is for,
to focus on the numbers.
Yeah.
But like the club path on this one, 3.7. The club path on the other one, I think was like -2 maybe.
So it's going to change your swing direction.
Okay.
So for anyone that says like, hey, the backswing doesn't matter stuff, that's just, they don't know what they're talking about. It's like just an ignorant thing.
Right.
Of course it matters. You have to swing from there.
Right.
And so the whole purpose of this, the deeper thing, is for you to swing down more from inside. So let me just do this camera back here.
Sure.
Let me have you hop over there for 1 second. So like right now, because I see your pattern a lot, you get away with it better than a lot of people do.
Okay.
And that's just eye-hand coordination, that's you, or whatever. So like when you go up too high and then you go out, you have to get the shaft back to the original club plane to hit the ball, right? So if at setup position, I know you know this, if we drew a line up where the shaft was, we'll call that like the shaft plane. Good ball strikers get the club head back on that at about hip high, and they ride that shaft plane basically right into the ball.
Right.
Now, if I'm out here with the shaft, and I've got to get it back on this shaft plane line, how would I do that?
You got to move further away from the ball, right?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Early extension.
Yeah.
So anytime I early extend from the down the line camera, if I did nothing with my arms and hands, I just early extended, it changes the angle the shaft's on.
Right.
Right. That's why our brains do that. And then also, if I unhinge it, early release it a little, that also is going to lower the club head back onto the plane.
Yeah.
So if I'm above it, I can lower the club by early releasing, or I can do it by early extending. And so like we can't fix those things. We have these conversations a lot. Like we can't fix the early extension. Your brain's doing that to help you until we do the earlier pieces.
Right.
So anyway, I think that's like important. Maybe not so much for you, but maybe for someone watching. How like that's why you do all that stuff, and that's why there's no way you would fix it.
Right.
If you stayed in with where your shaft was at and you stayed in posture, your club path would be like 8 to the left.
Yeah.
And you'd hit hard down left. It'd look good on camera with your body, but the shaft would be way too across. You hit really low pull cuts.
Okay.
And so your brain does that to find neutral, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So let's do the same thing.
Okay.
So you saw one and it's got a 10-minute speech. Let's do you feeling the same thing. Yeah, good. And I would do this, like, man, when you're doing mechanics practice, you should do mechanics practice. You would not even see the ball flight stuff.
Okay.
You know, wiffle ball into a net, man.
Yeah.
Be the best way to do it. And then when you want to go see ball flight stuff, do that, you know, just not at the same time.
Got it.
Not at the same time.
Because it can obviously offset one or the other.
Absolutely, dude.
It's just the competitive nature, and he was like, God, I want to be able to hit it like this, doing this, but you're going to ruin your mechanics that way.
So now we'll just go back and forth. It might take 5 swings. It might take 200. And we're just like going through the nuances. Hey, I feel my right arm go this way. Is that right? What about my wrist? What about this? But your general theme is like, get that freaking thing deep. We'll put a practice station in, and then we're just monitoring it per the ankle. So let's do one rehearsal. Good. Yeah, perfect. One more rehearsal like that again. Good. Excellent. Let's hit with that. Just slow the speed down to about 50%.
Got it.
Same exaggeration. So as you're going, the other variable is going to be the speed.
Got it.
So like a realistic thing here would be like, could you over the next 7, 14, 30 days get exactly where you want at 20% speed?
Okay.
Boom, check mark, right? So versus looking at this like, how do I solve this today?
Right.
How do I solve this in 6 months?
Right.
3 months, you know? And then it would be more of a guaranteed way to do that.
Got it.
So we're going like fast.
So I should really be slowing it down
Yeah.
to make sure I'm getting in these positions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
this will be the same thing. This is going to be a little bit too high.
Okay.
This is going to be a little bit too high, but closer. Yeah?
Yeah. No.
So
better.
if we go from here, and this will be some of the stuff we'll talk about, the minutia stuff. If this is our margin here, for the sake of this coming under more. So you're already getting through like the upper part of the biceps. It's already close. But once we have that coming down more where we want, then you won't have to do any of the head off the wall.
Right.
Then that'll go away, but not until there. So,
Okay.
so let's take your setup one more time. Let's get one where we go far enough. And then you do just the takeaway and pause.
Okay.
Okay, let's go from there. Feel that?
Yeah.
Should feel stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, one more.
And it definitely feels like I'm stretching a lot more to get there.
Let's do it again. Yeah, good. Good. Now, swing down from that spot. Good. Now, I want to do that same thing. I'm going to put a ball in.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you shank it, hit it, whatever.
Okay.
We're going to move back to that spot. I'm going
Okay.
to move out of the way and say
just
swing
move it
down.
out. Okay.
And just clip one out like 50% speed.
Got it.
Just like a little bump. Good, let's go up to the top. Good, let's just go from there. So this is really the picture that you're gonna want. This is like where we're gonna go to. We'll see the difference where the shaft comes down from a different position. So see how the shaft comes, where it comes from?
Yeah.
So it's just, that's essentially where we're looking to go. So there's no need if like, let's say your original plane line is kind of through your belt line, and we come down from that spot, you don't have to do anything to shallow it because it's already shallow. See how smooth that looks?
Yep.
And then you're going to trace right on underneath that. So you then you don't need to do any of the standing up or any of the pieces to shallow because it's preset shallow. But that's probably like, that's a good starting place for us.
Yeah.
We'll be like here, swing down from there, here, swing down from there.
Okay.
And then like, okay, that's easy. That's getting easier. Little farther, a little faster, a little farther, a little faster, a little farther, a little faster, until that gets up to our normal. Where we want to get to, like our initial objective is to get the backswing perfect. Let's say 30 days from now.
Okay.
Get the backswing where we want, like perfect. It's coming down where we want, but then you're still doing the standing up stuff.
Right.
That'd be a good 30-day objective.
Okay.
And then the next 30 days would be, let's keep doing that, but now let's keep the head on the wall.
posture,
Yeah,
yeah.
do the pivot pieces.
Okay.
So let's do another one together where we can
Okay.
do the takeaway. I'll push it to the top, and then we'll come down from that spot, just like 50% speed again. Good. And let's go from here to here. Good. Come down from there. So that should feel like your arms are like kind of behind you, stuck behind you a little. Yeah. Perfect. That is what that should look like. So see where I'm putting you there?
Yeah.
So I'm basically getting your depth already at this point, right? So I'm kind of presetting that there shorter and in. And then now as you come down, you can just come right back down. Which is what we're looking to do, is like if I draw this plane line, I just want the shaft to go up and down that.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Keep it as simple as possible. So you don't have to do any shallowing moves there.
I mean, it looks a lot different, feels a lot different. So yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, it has to feel stupid.
Right.
For your kind of change. Just no getting around it, you know?
Right.
And that's okay. That's gonna be like our new motto. It's like, it's necessary. It's a better way to say it.
Perfect.
Cool?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Questions, thoughts, concerns?
No, I mean, it's just, repetition. That's what it is. And the problem with me is I've never been one to practice much. It's just, let's do it. But, I want the result from the practice, so.
Yeah. And you will get a, like, if you went to go play right now today and you just lower your arms, you should hit it fine. It'll draw more.
Okay.
That's the only thing that you have to be look out for.
Got it.
Because you're going to still do the double shallow. But your ceiling is high enough with like the dynamic loft, the distance, like what you could do, that I think it's worth the pain of like going to the gym.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the numbers, 90 mile an hour club head speed, 155 yardage, like, you know, there's a lot more.
175 would be appropriate.
There you go. All right, I like it.
So once you do some of that and get that in and then start to do the lower stuff, then you can start to get back into the dynamic loft handle forward stuff.
Perfect.
Cool, man.
Thanks, man.
You got it,
Appreciate
absolutely.